Hey, get loaded now! Yes, sir! Aye, sir! Aye, sir!
Teachers thrown into a real-life Marine recruit experience. Just pulling up to Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego, the young recruits are herded off the bus. First stop of boot camp, Yellow Footprints. These yellow footprints are where training as a Marine truly begins. After getting off the bus, recruits learn their first lessons here about what it takes to be a U.S. Marine. There's no easing into life as a Marine recruit. Drill instructors stay in your face, rushing you into line.
This is the first indoctrination of, hey, you're here. It's a culture shock.
On the Yellow Footprints, recruits have their first lessons. They learn how to stand like a Marine, saying yes, sir, aye, aye, sir, and of course, doing it all big, loud, and fast.
I was kind of shaking for a little bit, you know. It was unexpected, to say the least. I was just kind of thinking in my head, all right, just do what they ask.
Next stop, running inside to the contraband room. For real recruits, this is where they give up cell phones, extra clothes, and anything else deemed unessential. Drill instructors line us up at red cubicles.
I say something, you respond, you understand?
They give instructions, fast and often hard to understand. Drill instructors call it controlled chaos.
A bunch of people talking at the same time, but try to listen.
Creating a high-stress environment, we're ordered to pick up our bags, put them back down, and pick them up again. We read the recruit pledge, the first time recruits learn about the Marine motto, honor, courage, and commitment. And even though recruits have only been there minutes, it's their first lesson about war.
The Marines are combat-oriented. There's going to be that chaotic chaos and rounds going off, and you still have to perform under the stress.
For us, the Yellow Footprints didn't last long.
Whenever you see a Marine, and you wanna, or any person of armed service, you want to give them respect. Because this kind of gives you a better understanding of what they went through in order to earn that uniform.
But for real recruits, the training continues another 13 weeks, changing many from young boys into U.S. Marines. Day one at the Educators Workshop, the Yellow Footprints already set the tone. Once again, teachers and counselors are put in recruits' shoes.
Stand up straight, look at me right now. My name is Staff Sergeant Older, and I am your senior drill instructor.
It's now time to meet our drill instructors and see the barracks for the first time.
Do you understand me? Yes,
This is called Control Chaos, already training recruits for war and conflict.
Everything that we do in recruit training is with speed, volume, intensity. The reason behind that is in combat, that's how you win.
For teachers and new recruits, it's a jarring experience.
You see a lot of shock, you see a lot of nervousness.
Terrifying just knowing I'm here for a half hour, but trying to imagine my nephew, Ernie, and my students who are coming, experiencing that.
This is only the beginning of training. Out in the field, recruits get in tip-top shape, learning about camaraderie and competition. That's something we also experienced firsthand. I even got to lead my fire team through a bayonet training course.
Fire team, ready to rush! Rush! Rush!
Recruits learn life-saving skills in every aspect, from the pool to martial arts to the firing range. What these future Marines learn in boot camp could save their lives in war. Educators even got to test out the first steps of simulated shooting, a task some of us found hard. But our biggest challenge came on the recruits' final set of obstacle courses.
So we have to make it from this board all the way to the other end, and we're not allowed to touch any of the red or touch the gravel.
It took my team a while to figure out how to get all 8 of us across. I was in charge of the ammo and was one of the first to make it over. All right, I'm safe and I have the ammo, but my fellow teammates still need a crossover. Recruits do these obstacle courses on a journey known as the Crucible. Little do they know, some of these challenges are designed to be impossible. Instead, it's a test of teamwork, camaraderie, and perseverance.
Wheelbarrow style, like you're in PE.
Educators also had the opportunity to look at some of the Marines' equipment. We left the recruit depot in San Diego to Marine Corps Air Station Miramar to see aircraft firsthand.
More people should actually take the time to come and see these planes to where these soldiers have to be in the conditions that they have to fly.
At Camp Pendleton, we also saw amphibious assault vehicles used on land and in water. But despite the amazing sights and sounds and grueling training teachers experienced, the most touching part of the trip came from a U.S. Marine's memory. He tearfully recalled name-calling and teasing he got for serving in the military. The crowd gave him a standing ovation.
When the young Marines started getting he was breaking up, talking about some experiences he's had. That just emotionally touched me, and as a mother, I wanted to go up and hug him.
Many teachers say the biggest lessons learned went beyond the challenges behind becoming a Marine, but an increased respect and love for our military. While it's a job he loves now, being a U.S. Marine wasn't Sergeant William Sandoval's first choice. His story is one of many. Hard economic times forced the young man to drop out of school.
I started to go to college. I was doing pretty good, but I just couldn't afford it after a while.
The young Arizona native found it hard to find work.
I used to work construction, and I was working once a week, and it just wasn't cutting it for the bills.
So Sergeant Sandoval enlisted in the United States Marine Corps. Being a Marine doesn't just give him the opportunity to serve his country, but also a renewed chance to go to college. That's something teachers and counselors recently learned about at a trip to MCAS Miramar. The most widely known tool for military members is the GI Bill. The military completely covers in-state tuition for veterans, with extra help for more expensive schools. It also includes $1,000 in books and supplies and a housing stipend. For those still serving, the Marine Corps pushes educational opportunities. The military offers a tuition assistance program for off-duty courses as long as the student keeps up their grades.
We have an education center on base, and they'll walk you through everything.
A look around Marine Corps Air Station Miramar shows a library full of academic materials, study areas, and computers for networking at the Career Resource Center. Students can take online classes at numerous schools, leaving options open and teachers impressed.
I hear a lot about the economy we have, the way it is right now. A lot of them say, I can't go on to college. I don't know what I'm going to do after high school. And hearing a lot of the options that are out there, that there's choices out there for them.
But Sergeant Sandoval says it's the Marines' focus on core values, discipline, and respect that will take them the farthest in life and any career.
A lot of my buddies, they've gotten out and they see that there were prior Marines, they'll hire them on the spot. I'm so much more ready to do anything else. I've grown as a person in so many ways.
Young men marching in unity down from a 54-mile hike that tests strength, courage, and perseverance. The journey, called the Crucible, takes these young men on their final test to become a Marine.
It's a lot of hiking, obstacles, many types of obstacles, and then one very long hike at the end.
On top of miles of hiking, the exhausted recruits participate in dozens of obstacles, like the ones we were shown, at times unsure if they'll make it.
They fall apart a little bit, and then they've come back together as, their weariness, because they're thinking that each obstacle they have to accomplish. But in reality, the teamwork and the discipline of the teamwork while they're actually conducting obstacles is what we're looking for.
Recruits now take their own initiative, while drill instructors look on instead of giving orders. More than anything, the Crucible requires teamwork for the journey that seems to have never-ending challenges.
This pack weighs about 50 pounds, and the recruits have to walk for 54 miles with it on, with very little food or water on their last journey to becoming Marines.
It's really prideful, because, you've turned them from the timid, afraid young man that they were, who didn't really have an idea, and you've developed them, and you developed their military knowledge and their confidence.
Walking down this final hill, recruits know they're almost done boot camp. The Crucible ends with the Eagle, Globe, and Anchor ceremony, when the young men receive their precious emblem. For the first time in the last 3 months, recruits hear positive feedback.
We'll never tell a recruit this, but it's very emotional, obviously, for them. But for the drill instructors, it's just as emotional. Every single time I did it, I had to fight back my own tears, because you're so proud.
These men, who've proven themselves so strong, often can't help but become emotional, along with the educators, given this unique perspective.
Those kids coming down from that Crucible hill, just the emotion and then just the kids holding on to those boxes and crying as the other kids were getting the stuff, it was pretty meaningful.
And for the first time since boot camp began, these recruits can now call themselves U.S. Marines.
It's undescribable, man. Kind of like skydiving. It's just undescribable.
It's graduation day at MCRD San Diego as hundreds of boys become Marines.
This is something that they are going to look back on and remember for the rest of their lives, that this was really maybe crossing over into manhood.
The day begins with a color ceremony. It includes the raising of the flags and performances by the Marine Corps Band. Graduating Marines do not attend. Instead, it's a time for their families to take in the upcoming day. Before long, it's time. Families head to the graduation ceremonies on the parade deck. New Marines march in unison for the first time in front of their families. Loved ones ecstatic and noticing the change in their children as the ceremony plays out. Graduation day has an extra touch for the Skousen family. 20-year-old Nate, now PFC Nathaniel Bennett Skousen, is his company's honor graduate.
I expected myself to do everything I could, but I didn't expect it to go this far. I didn't know where it was going to take me. All I did was bear my head down and work hard.
That means out of these 405 new Marines, Skousen was the best at physical fitness, combat, shooting, and swimming, just to name a few. But PFC Skousen remains modest, saying he didn't do anything special and his fellow recruits worked just as hard.
We were all here together. We all did everything that we needed to do. I guess I was just louder and just spoke up.
Others had their eyes on Skousen from the start, before boot camp even began, including his recruiter.
Before we shipped him to boot camp, we had some side bets going on. Hey, you think he'll be honor man? I don't know. We'll see.
Staff Sergeant Liggett even made a special trip from Phoenix to see the graduation. And while it was a proud moment for him, watching Skousen graduate from boot camp was exceptional for his parents.
I just didn't want to let go. It was just phenomenal. It was almost like brought back the memory of when he was first born. And I just got to hold him the first time. It was just like, now my baby is a man.
You can still see the same old Nate, but there's definitely the Marine Corps has put a mark on him. And it will be a part of his life for a long time to come.
Now Skousen serves as a role model. His younger brother wants to be a Marine, just like him. A career PFC Nathaniel Skousen can't wait to take off.
I was a 19-year-old man with not a lot going for him. He was lost and trying to find his way in life. And now standing here, I know exactly where I'm going. I'm 20 years old, and I'm a United States Marine.